Hey, what's up everybody? Aaron Kubitz, personal trainer, functional aesthetics EC. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about 7 primal movement patterns that should be a part of anybody's workout routine. I'm also going to include a couple of accessory exercises to complement these movement patterns. So these movement patterns are as follows. Number 1, squat. Number 2, lunge. Number 3, bend. Number 4, push. Number 5, pull. Number 6, twist. And last but not least, we have gait. And then at the very end, I'll include a couple of assistance exercises that you should also be incorporating into your fitness routine. All right, so the squat is one of the most foundational movements there is. It's very functional. I mean, everybody at some point during their day is going to do some sort of squat movement. Now, whether or not you're adding weight to that is irrelevant, but in your training program, the idea is you're trying to get stronger, so we're going to be adding weight. Now, you can do regular squats, you can do with like a back squat. You can do pistol squats. And you can do front squats. And any other variation of squat. But squat incorporates all of the muscles in your legs, as well as requiring stability in the core, transferring up into the upper body in order to create that movement. So it's a great foundational exercise and should be included in anybody's workout routine. All right, so the next primal movement pattern is the bend pattern. So this can take the form of gradient deadlifts, regular deadlifts, or like right now, doing some tire flips. So it's going to work your entire posterior chain. You're going to be working your hamstrings. You're going to be working your lower back. You're going to be working the rhomboids as well. Even a little bit of your biceps in any of these kind of movements. And just like the squat, at any given point during the day, you're going to have to perform this movement. The difference is, you want to add weight to it. Alright guys, so our next primal movement pattern is the lunge. So you can have different variations of the lunge. You can have a regular back lunge. You can have a drop lunge. Or you can have a side lunge. Or any other variation of the lunge. Now, why lunges are beneficial is because you're working, whereas with the squat or the bending movement, you're working on both legs generally. With a lunge, you're working in a more unstable environment. So it helps to strengthen the muscles of the lower leg, as well as to work your core muscles up through here a little bit more to stabilize loads that are sitting on your shoulders. And so it helps you also to develop what we call proprioception, or the ability to sense your space, or where your body is in space at any given moment, which is going to help you, if you're an athlete, be more agile and avoid defenders if you're a football player going down the field. If you're just an average person who doesn't play sports or anything like that, it's also going to help you because it's going to help you if you slip on some ice, if you accidentally trip or something. It's going to allow you to quickly catch yourself before you fall and actually hurt yourself. All right, so our next exercise is the push exercise. And this is undoubtedly one of the most overused primal movement patterns there is. Now you can combine the upper body and the lower body, such as when you're doing a sled push, or you can do the bench press, which is, again, probably one of the ones that a lot of guys that go in the gym, that's right where they want to go to. Feels great and everything. I don't have personally anything against bench presses, and pushing is definitely and exercise, a movement pattern that should be incorporated into your workouts. However, as a general rule of thumb, you should try to do twice as many pulling exercises as you do pushing exercises. The reason being, a lot of the activities that we do during the day are going to keep us hunched forward like this, and then if we add more pushing exercises in there, we're going to shorten muscles that are already overly shortened, and it's going to decrease the efficiency with which our pulling muscles work. So, as a side note, about a year and a half ago, I separated my AC joint, had to take a few months off from doing a whole lot of intensive pressing exercises and anything like that. So I spent that time working on increasing my shoulder mobility and shoring up the posterior chain of my body. And what I found was that even though I wasn't working my pushing muscles that much, by gaining more balance between my pushing and my pulling muscles, I actually got stronger at my bench press and stronger at my overhead press just because I created more balance. So even if you don't care about injury prevention or your posture or anything like that, and you just want to get stronger at bench pressing, it's still a great idea to do your pulling exercises. All right, but we're not talking about pulling. That'll be in the next one. We're going to talk about the pushing. So obviously you have overhead presses. You have bench presses. You have push-ups. And any other variation of movement and then, as I noted before, you can also have combinations where you're pushing from the legs and pushing from the upper body, which is even more beneficial because especially if you are trying to get lean, trying to lose weight, or trying to just improve your overall athleticism, combining upper and lower body into one exercise, such as doing a push press, such as doing a squat to press, such as doing reverse lunge to press, different things like that are going to make you're going to be using a lot more muscles all at once, so you're going to be burning more calories, and you can also be boosting human growth hormone, testosterone, things like that. So those are all going to help you get more lean, but it's also going to help you become a better athlete because it's going to train you to efficiently transfer force from your lower body through the through your core into your thoracic region and then out into your upper body extremities. All right, so the next primal movement pattern, very important one. Now I was talking about that when I was talking about the pushing. So you want to be doing twice as many of this exercise as you are doing with pushing, as a general rule, especially for your average person who spends a lot of time driving, working in front of themselves, doing things on a computer, etc. So pulling exercises can take all different forms. You can be doing, bent over barbell row. Quick tip, when you're doing your bent over rows, focus on rotating those elbows back rather than just pulling straight up. Bring up and try to also contract your lower trapezius to get that thoracic extension there as well. That'll go miles towards improving your posture. You could be doing pull-ups. Now the one caution with pull-ups is that when you do the pull-ups, you're also doing some internal rotation stuff. So it's good doing the pull-ups, but the lats, one of their functions is to not only abduct the arms, or adduct the arms, but also to internally rotate the arms. So even though it is a pulling exercise, it's not ideal for posture improvement, simply for the reason that it does add to that internal rotation. Does not mean that you should not do them, but means that you should prioritize other exercises such as bent over rows, inverted rows, seated cable rows, things of that nature, into your workout routine. All right, so the last second last exercise, or rather movement pattern, because there's a lot of different exercises that this could entail, is the twist pattern. So you don't want to just be working in one plane of motion. You also want to be working where you're transferring energy through the spine and stuff like that. Keep your spine healthy and mobile so that you don't tear something, you don't throw your back out of whack. If, for example, you're carrying your kid or like a baby or something like that, or the dog or the cat or whatever, and it suddenly decides it's going to jump and you're trying to catch it, or you have a heavy object and it starts slipping and then you just try to stop it from going and then you throw your back out. So, I mean, I've seen people, they can deadlift a lot of weight and one little thing like that completely tweaks and throws out their back. So definitely an important thing that you want to incorporate into there. All right, and the last primal movement pattern, probably something most of you don't think about a whole lot when you go into the gym to work out and stuff, because it comes so natural. I mean, every single day, if you get up in the morning and you're not in a wheelchair, you're going to be doing this. Gait. Gait meaning, you know, your stride, how you walk, things like that. And you think, oh, that's so easy. I mean, I do that all the time. But if you ever seen somebody with their feet splay out to the side like this, or they're pigeon-toed like that, and you know, or their knees come in a little bit when they're walking, or when they're trying to do a lunge, you know, their stability's off and things like that. Or if you're running and you don't get that knee up really high and stuff, therefore you're decreasing your power that you're getting and the speed at which you can run. So for example, going back to the one where your feet are out in kind of that duck foot pose, thing like that, that most often arises because there's weakness in the butt. You're sitting so much that the butt gets weak. You have three hamstring muscles in the back here, so you have biceps femoris on the outside, and that one right there, if that one gets tight, it's going to cause external rotation in your foot. So the combination of that being tight is going to externally rotate the foot. The glutes, if they're weak, they're not going to decelerate the natural pronation of your foot. So when your heel hits the ground, the arch pronates to the middle, and then it should help you track the flexor hallucis longus in the back of the leg should take the big toe, push into the ground, and stop that. Now, the glutes are weak though, and so the glutes do this extension thing with external rotation, right? So the opposite of that would be flexion with internal rotation. So when you're going into your run, and you're going and your knee is bending and internally rotating, the glutes are getting stretched. Now if they're too weak though, they're going to get stretched too much and your knee's going to come too far to the middle. Over time, because you're pronating all the time, your body's just going to adapt to that, kind of like an evolutionary process, right? And over time, your foot's just going to start canting out to the side, because they're like, well, we're not rolling over the middle of it anyway, we're just skipping the big toe anyway, let's move it out and shortcut that circuit. So that's why practicing not only running, but how you run is also important for a couple of reasons: injury prevention, athletic performance. All right, so lastly, a couple accessory exercises that you might want to incorporate into your workout routine would be things such as lateral raises and direct work for your rotator cuff. Now when it comes to your rotator cuff, it's three primary muscles, including the subscapularis muscle, but 3 primary muscles that work external rotation, which is the primary ones that you want to be working when we talk about working your rotator cuff. So the first one you can do is you can work your supraspinatus, which runs right across top of the spine, the scapula. So if you look at a shoulder blade, you'll see that ridge of bone that runs across the top 3/4 of your shoulder blade. That's called the spine, the scapula, and so the supraspinatus, superior above, is the muscle that lies and runs right across the top of that ridge there. So in order to hit this muscle, we want to do horizontal abduction with external rotation. Now, so horizontal abduction with external rotation. So how you can do that is doing an exercise such as a scarecrow. So what you're going to do is take a relatively light set of dumbbells. You want to be doing at least 10 repetitions with this exercise, up to as many as 20 exercises. It's a small muscle, does not need and it also has a high level of slow twitch muscle fibers. So it responds best to lighter loads, higher volume. So what you're going to do is you're going to start, bring it up like this, externally rotate, come back down. And you can push it up if you want. You can make it into a Cuban press, which is bring it up, externally rotate, push it over the top. Or you could just stay right here, bring it down, and bring it up. Just like that. All right, so the next exercise is going to be training the muscle, the 2 muscles, the teres minor and the infraspinatus, which are below that ridge of bone that goes across the back of the shoulder blade. So in contrast to the supraspinatus, which works in horizontal abduction and external rotation, these also work in external rotation, but you keep your arm at your side rather than abducted out to the side. You can have a slight, it actually works best with a slight degree of abduction, but it's not completely necessary to work that way. In another video, I might show you a couple exercises you can do that'll hit it in that slight degree of abduction and external rotation. But for now, this, I'm sure you've seen quite a few times in the gym. You can do it using a cable. You can use it resistance band when you're standing up, or you can just, if you have a soup can or just a light dumbbell, you can lay on your side and rotate your shoulder up like this. All right, guys, so as you can see, with that exercise, there's not a lot of range of motion that's at that joint. You don't need to have a whole lot. You go from internal, most of the range of motion is going to go in that internal function and then back to a neutral position. It's not going to go much into that external rotation there. Maybe 10 degrees at most that you're going to get there. So when you do this, it's very important that you focus, again, as just like in doing the scarecrows and things like that, higher volume, lighter loads, at least 10 repetitions. Try for more up in the 20 repetition range when you're first starting this, and then you can gradually increase the weight and decrease the reps. But I wouldn't go much lower because, again, as I said, slow twitch muscle fibers respond well, and they're also small muscles. They respond well to high volume endurance style training. So that wraps up and concludes this video. I hope that watching this video gave you some good insights into different weight exercises you can incorporate into your workouts. Now, I am planning on, in some future videos, putting together a few short little exercise routines or combinations of exercises that can help you see how these different functional movement patterns might work well into your own fitness routine. And then later on down the line, we're going to be creating some programs to hopefully sell here online and to help you guys further improve not only your aesthetics, so having a more balanced approach to your fitness routine is going to help you have a more well-rounded and better developed physique. It's also going to help you prevent injuries, and it's going to make you a more functional and athletic individual as well. So if you guys like this video, don't forget to hit that like button. If you would like to see more content like this, be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel by hitting the subscribe button right over here. When you do, hit that like button so you don't miss future videos when they come out. And we'll see you all next time for more health and fitness related information. Thanks, guys.